Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where we invest in fighter pilot precision on a daily basis. Welcome to Friday. Friday, rip your face off Friday. I saw that in the comments. I would love to think today is a nice big rip your face off Friday in the market. I don't really anticipate that. Just because it's kind of been a rip your face off week, right? With new highs setting across the board, new highs here in the business here at Afterburner Financial, soon to be renamed, waiting on paperwork back from the state to Anchor Star Wealth, but kind of new highs across the board. Obviously the infrastructure bill was good news. Well, good news from the fact that it looks like we have something that can pass. Both sides are unhappy, standard. Not everybody gets what they want. That's weird in America, right? Compromise. So, but it appears we do have a bill that is at least palatable to both sides. We'll see. I was reading on the what needs to happen for it to get passed, but I think it will get passed in its current form. And of course, July 4th was the original goal. So let's just wait until the last second because that's how things work in politics. So, and in real life for a lot of things too. But today we're going to talk about in our show, we're going to talk about private equity and limited partnerships. And largely, I wanted to talk to you today because a few of you in the room are accredited investors, and that means you're eligible for something that I'm about to send out to you. Unfortunately, I cannot send it out to folks that are not accredited investors, but we'll take a look at least at the front page of the slide deck so you can see what I'm talking about. But I do want to talk about the mechanics of things and kind of the inner workings of both private equity and limited partnerships. And when you say private equity, you can't even you can't not think, to use a double negative there, you can't not think of Blackstone, because Blackstone, ticker symbol BX, CEO Steve Schwartzman, I have his book literally 6 feet from me. Steve Schwartzman, What It Takes, Lessons in the Pursuit of Excellence, started in 1980s with $400,000 and now multi-billion-dollar firm. They're the best in the business. So we're going to take a look at their stock ticker. And I know one of you was bragging about holding some naked options on the stock that has paid off tremendously. So congrats for you on that. But yeah, we'll look, the stock has doubled since the election, and it's one of my favorites. And it's kind of that, I buy and hold Blackstone forever. So it's one of those you don't really stare at a whole lot, kind of like Apple or Amazon. But wow, what a move up. Pretty impressive. So we're going to talk about the inner workings of that. For the question of the day, we're talking about what is a subscription agreement, which is how you get in on the limited partnership stuff. For our longs, I like the longs better than the shorts. We do have momentum going up today. TNXP setting up a vaccine manufacturing facility is the storyline there. PSFE, PaySafe, I don't have a story for you there, but they're up 10%. And then Nike, if you followed the earnings release last night, just blew up the earnings release. So obviously things are going great at Nike. And in addition, what's really taking the stock higher today is that it's up 13% already, is they guided up significantly for the second half of this year, right? Not the 5 years out, but this year they guided up. So pretty impressive move there. I could see that going higher. We would obviously need that to come in before we take it higher. And then the short, SoFi, I don't know necessarily how, that's social finance. They're off 5%. No real story to go with it. I also see the question of the day, which I'm just going to knock out right now, is if you have a call option and the stock splits before your exercise date, does that double the amount of options you have? Well, it depends on the split, right? If the split is a 2-for-1, then yes, you would double, right? And then there's reverse splits and regular splits. So whatever the math that goes into that split, yes, to answer your question, the options that you have will now be chopped or combined accordingly to match the inverse of that split. Blah, blah, blah. That was a lot of words. What that means is your options are good. The original bet, since buying cold options is naked options is a bet and speculation, the original speculation you took still holds true to the exact, to the exact strike price, but that will be adjusted for the split. Also, there are you'll end up with 2 sets of options. Let me kill off the email here. It's making noise. There are 2 sets of options now for each strike price and expiration. There's the original ones that were converted, and then there's new ones, and they don't mix those streams. So it can get a little bit weird there for a while. But yes, your options mathematically are the same as you took originally. Okay, thank you for that question in the Q&A. If you're catching us on replay, make sure you subscribe and hit the notifications bell. If you want to join us live, I have a Q&A window and a chat window, both of which we talked about this morning already. Join us for $25 a month. Can't talk today. and I'll answer your questions as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, welcome back, everyone. Here is your lineup card for today. All right, make sure you have your chat window and your Q&A window set up correctly. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation. You have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything you hear this morning. Full disclaimer information is available at ototnow.com. June 25th, Friday. So that means we have, what, 3 more trading days left this year, for the first half of this year of 2021, which has been a great half. We've really been able to not talk incessantly about inflation, which has already subsided some. So, more along the lines of the transitory case being correct. And and of course, taxes are probably next, right? We talked at the beginning of the year, we're going to do a stimulus bill. We are going to turn around and do an infrastructure bill. And at the end, we're going to raise taxes, right? We know that's coming. So we've stayed long, we've stayed aggressive about as long as I can in the portfolios, to be honest. So again, some risk off maneuvers going into the second half are pretty prudent there. All right, objectives for today: grow our money, protect our money, live off our money. We're talking about private equity and limited partnerships. Again, you have to be accredited, so you have to have $1 million of investable assets, or you have to have a high income of a couple $100,000 a year if you're on your own, 300 if you're 2 of you are working in a relationship. You also can meet it if you own a financial firm. You can, or get a series, some FINRA licenses now qualify you as a credit investor. Again, that you have to do that before you can even see a lot of this stuff. We're going to talk about, to participate, what is a subscription agreement and how that works. Once we get into the flow for today, long, short, open, short, long, we'll take a look at where we are in the market, bouncing off of new highs. We'll see what's in the headlines for today. We're not going to look at Eli Lilly and Biogen because that was yesterday. We're going to look at VX. That's the only one we're going to look at today. We'll get into the short-term trades. We'll recap yesterday's trade. Yeah, it didn't work completely. It didn't 3R, but it closed at 2R, so I'll recap that for you. And then contingencies and academic resources are standard. All right, over to TD Ameritrade. Let's talk about yesterday's trade. As a reminder, it was short in Rite Aid, so you can see that off to the right here. Here it was the entry point at 80. Let me move it over so I can see my own numbers. There we go. 1810, we had the big run up initially. We took it here going south. Again, there's the down arrow with our exit points of 1840 above the high of the day. Of course, never got even close to that. So we're in the money all day long from the moment we took it all the way down to 3R is just off the screen at 1720. So it got within 8 cents of it, but down to 1728, but didn't quite make it. Closed here at 1740, so 2+ our trade. So obviously high fives on that one. We'll try to find you another one today. All right, here's where we are with the market, basically bouncing off of new highs here. It is flattening out though. So, I mean, expectation management, we put up some pretty big numbers in the first half of 2021. All is not lost, but I'm saying don't expect another 10 to 15% move up in the next 6 months. Okay, gotten pretty spoiled with those moves. All right, so we need to take a deep breath, and that's why there are times to diversify money out of the market, which is what I'm doing with a chunk of my change, is putting it over into this private placement investment. Okay, zooming in a little bit, let's take a look at the S&P, pretty much straight line up and momentum going higher. So I don't know, Burner, we might get a rip your face off Friday, but I just don't see enough momentum there personally. All right, here's how we'll get set up for our trades. Our long, we're going to take a look at Nike first, just because it's such a compelling storyline. I don't think we're going to get an entry, but we're going to have it pulled up just in case we do. For all the fools that would be selling Nike at this point, which, there's always fools out there in the market, right? And then here is our, let's get to a 1 minute chart here in SoFi. That's pretty ugly too. So we'll see. That's what we'll be set up for when we get over to the day trading portion. All right, let's check out pull up the screen here for CNBC.com. Oh, I want to show you that. All right, so I can't show you the brief, but it's not against the law to show you the cover slide, right? So here's what you get. If you ever get your hands on one of these or you want to take a look at it. I'm sending this out to a few of the accredited folks this morning. Once I get a minute, probably about 9:30 my time, about an hour from now. But anyhow, this is what you can see is it's a basic PowerPoint slide deck that goes out. It'll have some fancy name here. They have Moonshots Capital. One of the individuals, they're both West Point grads, both pretty amazing resumes, to be honest, and an amazing track record of success. So there's really no reason not to give a portion of this money, but you can see down here it's private and confidential. So it is invite only, which I've been invited in, and my clients have too. And confidential means you can't, just share it with anybody. But you can see up here at the top, it's 36 slides, half of which is legal disclaimer, but the other half explains exactly what's going to happen to your money. So anyhow, if you ever want to participate in one of those, it is available. Just let me know. All right, on into the headlines of the day. Here are our, if that sounds weird. Let me refresh, and here are how about that? Pre-market numbers. You can see we're in the green across the board. Dow kind of powering higher there as the superstar. Over to Europe. Mixed over in Europe, not really a whole lot of movement there. Big green day across Asia. Look at that. Those are nice big numbers. Trying to see, I don't see a headline that goes with it there. All right, as far as bonds, hanging out below that 1.5% on the 10-year. Oil still, it's kind of creeping up, almost 73.5 bucks there. Gold and silver creeping up a little bit, and then crypto. Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see a headline associated with it either, but 5% sell-off for crypto. I think kind of with Bitcoin, 30,000 is going to be that. If it holds 30,000, life is good for Bitcoin holders. If it doesn't, I think then there's going to be more challenges ahead. Kramer, who he's flip-flopped on Bitcoin more than I have. I know I have, so I hear you. But things change. You change your mind, and you press with it. But he says he would re-enter Bitcoin at around 10,000. I don't know. I'm starting to think 25, 20 might be enticing for me. But jury's out. We'll see what it holds. All right, analyst calls. You saw Nike here. They from their upping their forecast yesterday. There's the infrastructure. We're in grid, right? And we've been in grid since the election because we knew an infrastructure bill was coming. Now I'm actually looking to exit a portion of grid and switch into other things. I think that thesis has played out. It will officially play out once we get the infrastructure bill, but I think that's going to happen. All right, if you're into space travel, Virgin Galactic got a green light from the FAA. All right, here's your Nike headline, 13% on pace to hit record high, 50 billion sales. Gosh, that's pretty impressive stuff. I did have an investor ask about Under Armour the other day. I do think that Nike's best of breed over Under Armour, but Under Armour entry point as far as the stock is certainly a lot more attractive because it's been in the bargain basement since their owner, their founder, Kevin Plank, started getting fancy, split out all the shares of stock, got greedy, kept a bunch for, it was kind of bad for the stock, but their gear is awesome. Their clothes and gear is first class. I think it's on par with Nike stuff, certainly. Okay. Yeah, Derek Chauvin, if I'm saying that right, he's getting sentenced. So that'll be interesting to see what the sentence is that comes out of that. And you're right. Normally police get lenient sentences, and I don't think he's going to. They said actually the kicker, I was reading an article this morning, is the fact that he, committed the murder in front of children. They said that generally tacks on like 10 years to your sentence. So we'll see. Okay, let's look at Blackstone real quick. Got about 2 minutes for the market open here. You want to see a chart that just makes you smile? Well, kids, this is it. Here's Blackstone, lower left, 50 at the election. Let's just go ahead and double it to 100. Yeah, I have everything positive to say about Blackstone. I've been jumping up and down on Blackstone, beating the table on Blackstone, for a long time. 2.7% dividend. It's actually a distribution. But when you look at this, that really you're like, well, I can't buy in here because they've already doubled. These PE ratios are a fraction of like Tesla and other things that, these people actually, if we do have bad inflation and there's some destruction in the economy, Blackstone, just like in 2007 through 2009, are the folks that are standing there ready to pick up distressed property and assets and buy them up at pennies on the dollar and then turn around and flip them. That's kind of what they do. They own the Bellagio right now, of all things. So, all right, let's leave that behind and set up for our trading this morning. Give me a few seconds to get set up here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to On Time on Target play of the day. We have 10 seconds to the market open. You have three screens in front of you. We have the market all the way to the left on a 1-minute chart. That's the S&P 500 SPY. Then we have a long in Nike and a short in SoFi. All right, we're going to watch Nike to see if it sells off. You can see it's up 14%. So we would really need it to sell off pretty hard back below 150 before we could even consider it. And then it's not something where you're going to necessarily print money. So we'll keep an eye on that. Again, 150 is my target there. We need it to come down to that so we can turn around and take it long. You can see the drop in SoFi here. So we're looking at about a 20 cents stop. Right now, high of the day, you would want to cover up to 1985. So that gives us an entry at 1965. It's below that. So right now, we do not have an entry on that. We would need that to climb back up a little bit in order for us to get a good entry there. All right, overall in the market, let's zoom in a little bit. See the market's in the green and kind of chugging higher in the first minute here. Okay, Nike's selling off. I wanted 150. It did get down to 151. We would be at a $1.50 going long on this name for Nike. It's already at 13%. So you'd have to believe, if we take any trade in here, you'd have to believe that Nike's going to hit a plus 16, 17%. I don't know. I don't think that's going to get any of my money, and I'm probably not even going to call it because it didn't sell off enough. All right, over here in SoFi, yeah, it's just falling like a rock. That would have been nice to be in, but if you don't get the entry, you don't get it. I'm going to switch out of Nike. Check out these other longs. TNXP was a compelling story. Let's check it out. Lower volume here, so take note. And oh my goodness, $1.20 on the price point. So there you're almost scalping at this point. You're going to use a 2-cent stop. Yeehaw, right? 2-cent stop. So really, your low of the day, your stop would have to be down here at 117. Now it's bounced at 118, significant. So can we do a 3-cent stop? Not really. And here's why you can't do a 3-cent stop. Because if you do 117, covered up, and say you enter at 120 long, which you just had, that would have to be up here. It'd have to close at 129. That would have, or it'd have to touch 129. And I mean, that's just way too much. I don't see it doing that. All right. SoFi is backing up. We kind of need it to back all the way up to set a new high of the day. It looks like it's thinking about it. Okay, we're going to keep an eye on SoFi backing up. We'll take a look at PaySafe, PSFE. Up 10% on the day. I don't have a story for you, and there's no entry here since it popped up first and then dropped off. All right, we got a new high in the day. If you're dying to trade, 1990 and 1970. So 1990 would be your high of the day. Your 20 cents would be a 1970 entry, and that's assuming that it peaks out here. Again, 20-cent stop, entering at 1970 south if this high of the day holds. You could pad it by a penny since it was right to 1990. Okay. Looks like we're going to get our entry here at 1970 short. Right in our window at that 5% down. It did not hit yet. So if it doesn't hit, don't take it. Don't get out in front of it. And you've seen how fast these things can flip. All right, waiting for 1970 on SoFi short for the entry, covering at 1990. I know the second I look away, it's going to do it. All right, I am looking away. PaySafe went off to new highs there. Look at that, chugging higher up to 12%. So no real entry there. Our only real option left out of this morning is this PaySafe short. So again, I'm going to draw the line right now so I can look away real quick. Okay, that's the entry point short. I think we're going to get it here. There it is. So 1970, I saw it touch it. Again, 1990, we'll go 1991 up here for the exit. We'll call it 20 cents to keep the math even though it's technically 21. Again, this is a short. So get the arrow drawn in down there. Well, terrible arrow, but 1950 is our first R point. 1930 is the second R point, and then 1910 is your exit point, which I'm not going to draw up there. We'll leave it zoomed in right here. So right now took the trade south at 1970. So far it's in this congestion up here in the red. So we'll keep an eye on it. Pull that up on another screen if you're in this trade. And again, we'll see. We should know here in about 2 minutes whether it's going to hold that level or not. Then we can move on. All right. Over to what's going on in the longs and shorts of the day in the real world. SWBI, Smith & Wesson's up. Netflix is up. I can't remember the storyline behind Netflix, but it was a pretty good one. Somebody said the stock is like ridiculously undervalued, and they made their case, and it actually sounded pretty good. Tesla's up. Tesla's been on fire. K-Web has actually made somewhat of a comeback. Look at this. After being left for dead for so long, this move up, bottomed out. What is that, Wednesday? Nope, this is Friday. So bottomed out Tuesday, down at 66, already above 70. I think it holds that easy. There's Trade Desk. That's the one that split the other day. I don't know, Berner, if that was the option you're talking about. But Trade Desk had a pretty decent move yesterday, kind of just chilling into today. And then it is what, up 1.5%. I think the big move's been made in Trade Desk. No need to, I think it's a good long-term investment. No need to hop in here though, just because it ran up. It may come back in, may get another shot at it. All right, QClean, Roblox, Silver, Sony, all good names here that are looking good today. Let's check out the downside. Some of the meme stocks, AMC, Clover Health, are down. Other than that, just a few names down and not many of significance. So, all right, let's check back to our trade. All right, the trade held. So there you go. We're still right back at that entry point. You can take it here. This congestion is good on a short. So we spent 5 minutes between 1970 and 1990. So with all the momentum to the downside. So anyhow, you can take it here again with all the same parameters. All right, keep that. We'll check back on that in a second. Let's go here. This is where I've been losing, folks, is this transition. I've been losing audio coming out of TD Ameritrade over to Investopedia. So put it in the chat if there's some challenge with the audio. All right, pop back up on the screen here. So if you are interested, so switching gears back into limited partnerships. If you do private equity, there's a PPM, which is a private placement memorandum. If you do a limited partnership, there's a subscription agreement, and that's what you see here today. So if you are interested in the Moonshots Capital that I was talking about earlier, that I'm going to put money in, then you're going to sign a subscription agreement is what you can expect. And then this is what it covers. So key takeaway, defines the terms of, it'll be a lot of legalese. I know the terms going in, so I'll just kind of look for the numbers and then sign away. Private placement or a limited partnership. There's rules that are out there that govern these. Basically, you will fill that out, send it to them, and that's your verbal commitment to the capital. Now, how does the money move? If you like today, I'm signing on for 50K, and they will say, copy that, Steve, welcome to our platform. Here's our capital call dates. And out of that 55, or excuse me, out of the 50, I've heard from talking to Craig that they've already pulled money in. They've already had capital calls with existing investors. They're just closing to new investors on June 30th. So we need to have paperwork signed before then. But for the capital call, we'll pull in, he said, probably 35K first, and then 15K by the end of the year to complete everybody and have all of that to work. You cannot predict that stuff. The Blackstone investment that I put 50K into, I just put the last 5K into, and I've been in that for almost 2 years. But if they don't need your money, they're not going to pull it in. So they manage the inflows when they have money and they have things to buy, and then go out, buy it, execute their mission, and then hopefully, as you saw with those other, I can't show you what they're in, but anyhow, they're in some stuff and taking that to an IPO, right, and making the rates of returns that will be in the other presentation. So that's what I have for you today on subscription agreements. Let me check the chat again real quick, make sure we are clean. We are. Let's go back and check the trade. Looks like the audio hacked it today. Let's go back and check our trade. Hey, the trade is working. All right, so we were in at 19.7, just dropped to 19.5, all the way to 19.3. So we're sitting here at the 2R point, and again with the exit point at 19.10. So we're just I'm gonna go off air here. Well, I need to share this out. It doesn't look like it's sharing. There you go. So now you should be able to see it. So again, while we left for 2 minutes, right, it moved to 2R, moved down. Now it's kind of bouncing around here in a new area. But I'll close that out if it ends up hitting in the green. So there's the choppy audio. Yep. I saw just got a warning on my end. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go. We'll close the trade out if it hits later on. Talk to you soon. Bye.